Hey, this is Peter Reed Miller from On Sports Photography with Peter Reed Miller. Today I'm going to talk about something very exciting. This is a brand new piece of equipment, the Canon EOS R. It is a full-frame mirrorless camera from Canon. So, why did Canon go mirrorless? A couple of reasons. First of all, take a look at the mount. It is a big lens mount, much bigger than the standard Canon mount. Now, this still is a part of the Canon system, and we'll get to how you can use your Canon lenses that you already have on this camera. But the new lenses, as you can see, they have a big rear element. That's helpful for a number of things. The main one is your light doesn't have to bend as far to get to the sensors. So the straighter the path of the light is, the better, the sharper the image is, particularly on the edges. Edge sharpness, overall sharpness. This is an incredibly sharp camera. Another thing about the mount, while we're starting there, is lots of contacts. 12 contacts as opposed to 8 on the previous Canon mount or the other Canon mount. Room for a lot of information to travel both between the camera and the lens, back and forth. It travels faster, and there's even future uses that we haven't even thought of yet. The guys at Canon probably have. Okay, so they make 4 lenses that are the R series. This one is the 24-105 f4, very handy all-around shooting lens. They make a 24-70 f2, which is kind of cool. There's never been one of those before. A 35 macro. And this little baby here, this is a 50mm f1.2. And this is something else. This is sharp and fast. Really nice lens, really nice. Helps if I turn on the camera. There we go. Okay, looking at the body, we can see that the camera body is considerably smaller than pretty much anything that's come out from Canon in recent years. And the controls are a lot different. Well, not a lot different, but the controls are different because there's less room to have controls on this body. So Canon has come up with a whole bunch of ways for you to change settings on this camera. You can go to the menu, and the menus, blessedly, are very similar to the standard Canon menu hierarchy that we've known on the EOS 1DX, 1DX Mark II, 5Ds since I think the 3 on and the 5DRs. So the menus are pretty straight, but you can also just do a lot of things right on the back screen. And it's a touch screen. So if you touch something, you can change it. I've just changed the aperture. Well, it doesn't go to 2.8. Another method of controlling things is this multi-function bar here, which you can use as a selector. And there's a ring on the lens that you can adjust to control aperture, control shutter speed, ISO. You can set all these things. This camera is so programmable. It's crazy. Yeah, no big thing on the back like we used to have the main control dial. That's sort of been moved up here. And, you know, as far as shooting this camera, I'm mainly a sports photographer, and, you know, 5 frames a second is not really what we're used to in sports these days. EOS 1DX Mark II goes 14. So I did take it out and I tried to shoot a little bit of action, and it's the kind of thing where the guy's ready to catch the ball and then the ball's in his hand. There's no ball coming into the hand. I mean, there is if you time it right, but so it's not a high-speed, intense action camera. The autofocus is great, very accurate, very quick. You don't have all the different modes that you have on some of the Canon cameras, but it seems to work out just fine. I shot it with my 400 2.8. Okay, how did we get this 7200 f4 Series 3 Canon lens onto the R? We used an adapter. Now, Canon makes 3 adapters for the R, for their normal lenses to the R. This one, which actually has the control ring, just like the lenses, the R lenses do. A second one that has no control ring, that's a very basic. And a third one that allows you to use either a neutral density or a polarizing filter and control that from outside the lens. So that's pretty cool. And it comes with one or the other. So if you're a film person, that ND is really a big deal. And if you're a landscape guy, you probably want the polarizer. You know, I think the EOS R would be a great camera for any kind of a timing sport. And I consider timing sports tennis, boxing, even volleyball to a point where I'm saying that you can motor drive a boxing match and you will never get that hand on the chin like that. That's a single frame thing. Bat on ball in baseball, the same thing. You can motor right through it 14 frames a second. Doesn't matter. You will not necessarily get that ball on the bat. You've got to time it. This camera would be perfect for that. It's got a short release time. Again, very excellent autofocus. Also, if you're at a game, I used it Sunday as I always have an around the neck camera. And the great thing about this is it's light. It's light, it's compact. Again, not always going to get every action, but I shot portraits with it. I shot overalls of the field with it. Anything like that I could do. I've had this camera for just a couple of days, so I haven't had a chance to do a lot of shooting with it. I did take it out and shot some action before the Chargers game on Sunday, and it does a pretty good job. The AF tracks well, but 5 frames a second to me is a little bit slow. If you're shooting a slower sport or if you're shooting a portrait, I think that's where this camera would really shine. I'm going to give it a good workout. This coming weekend, I'm going to the 40th anniversary Ironman triathlon in Hawaii, in Kona, and I'm going to use it to shoot that. I think it's going to be great. The 24 to 105 should be a really good lens. It does have, for you portrait shooters, it does have the eye focus. And believe me, that is amazingly accurate. The portraits that I've shot with this camera are really, really sharp. So that's kind of an introduction. I will probably have a report back when I get back from Hawaii and talk about what it was like to use the camera under a variety of very stressful situations. Until then, stay tuned, subscribe, and have a good shoot.